This is a warning. The Grim Reaper of radio, Bob Romanik, with his off-the-record show is about to air. He's probably the nastiest and craziest son of a bitch that you've ever had the misfortune to encounter. The Grim Reaper show will be very controversial and probably quite tasteless. If you are even slightly offended by controversial matter concerning religion, racial matters, politics, or life's problems, you are hereby warned to turn this program off immediately. The Grim Reaper show will be, like his face, very scary and very ugly. At this time, not proudly, but shamefully presents to you Bob Romanik, the craziest son of a bitch on the radio today.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, and now simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane Broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio. And we are, as always, proud, very proud to be the Patriot. I did find out today is Wednesday, so take my word. Hey, bet everything you got on today's Wednesday. I'm that smart to look at the calendar that a nice lady had given me that I couldn't find because I got crap all over the place. If you people think I prepare for my show, you're nuttier than I am. You know, this is an act of love. I love coming out and exposing these rotten bastards. I'm not going to make it a job. It shouldn't be a job. It should be an experience. It should be an honor, and it is an honor every day to come on this air and talk to you good people all throughout our listening audience. It is an honor that I have the opportunity. And when I go out, people say, hey, Bob, we love your show, and I appreciate that. But when they say that they're my fans, that's bullcrap. I don't want any fans. I want friends. I want people who are going to help get rid of this culture of corruption. And I appreciate the accolades, but I'm just a crazy son of a bitch that has the opportunity to speak for all of us. And that's what I'm doing. Never want to be what I hate. A big shot, low life, good for nothing, rotten, rich son of a bitch. That's what I hate. I think that's what most people hate. But anyway, we're going to take care of our housekeeping. We're going to go down to the school district 189. I've got two good friends with me today, ex-mayor of Cahokia, Gary Carnwell, and Jerry the Lone Wolf Nichols, the only member on the board that's fighting for all the people of Cahokia. I talked to Jerry off the record. Well, it really wasn't off the record. It was yesterday, and he didn't say keep it off the record, but he said, Bob, I'm there for everybody. Said, I don't care if the people out there, the ones that didn't vote for me. I'm obligated to represent the city and the village of Cahokia, and I'm going to take care and do all I can do for the good people of Cahokia, whether they're Democrats, whether they're Republicans, whether they voted for him. And I think that's very admirable, because once a politician gets elected, he should cease being a politician and become a public servant and work for everybody. That's the problem. Most of the time it doesn't happen. Let's take care of our housekeeping, and then we'll get on to some craziness. And again, we're starting to simulcast on 1430 AM. We're still working on our 1190 KQQZ signal to make it even stronger, more clear, and it's going to be great when it's done. It may take another 3 or 4 days, so we got it down to about half power, but it's still a good signal. In about 3 or 4 days, it'll be up and going. But we're going to stay also on 1430 because that gives us about another 1.5 million potential listeners, which puts us up to about 4.5 potential million listeners. And we want to get all throughout, not just St. Clair, Madison County, not just on the on the Missouri side, but all throughout Illinois, going up north to Bloomington, going east just about to the Indiana border. And we're going to take it everywhere, people, because what happens here in St. Clair County happens everywhere. The same game. It's the same game, just different players. The 11th Annual Holiday Boutique Preview Night, $5 admission. It'll be Thursday, October the 15th from 4 to 8 p.m. It's at the Carrington Place Clubhouse, located at 3900 Essex Boulevard on Frank Scott Parkway in Swansea, Illinois. They're going to have paintings. They're going to have needle artwork, pottery, jewelry. It doesn't have any telephone number, but it's going to be attendance prizes, refreshments. October the 15th is $5 admission. That's Thursday. Now, October the 16th and 17th, Friday and Saturday, free admission from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Friday, and from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday. So that's at the Carrington Place Clubhouse, located at Frank Scott Parkway West, 3900 Essex Boulevard in Swansea, Illinois, the 11th Annual Holiday Boutique. Don't forget our good Shriner buddies, Fish Fry, coming up Friday. This Friday, I guess, is it October the 16th Friday? Okay, I said September. Jesus Christ, I'm nuts. October the 16th from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m., located at the Scottish Rites, 1549 Frank Scott Parkway West, right here in Belleville, Illinois. AmVets Post 51, 5100 Lakeview Drive in Granite City. They're having their turkey shoots every Sunday until November the 22nd. Don't forget Andy and Debbie's Haunted Hotel, their 30th annual adult costume contest party, Saturday, October the 24th at AmVets Hall, located in Madison, Illinois. Trivia night, St. Stephen's Catholic Men's Club. Saturday, October the 17th, doors open at 6:30. Trivia starts at 7, located at the Vote Hall at the St. Stephen's Catholic Church in Caseyville, Illinois. St. Stephen's Men Club, also, their all-you-can-eat pancake breakfast. Sunday, October the 18th from 8 a.m. to noon, also at Vote Hall in Caseyville. The Freeburg Troop 30 Boy Scouts Barbecue. It'll be held at the Rural Family Medicine Lot from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on October the 17th. We'll be out there. Pork steaks, bratwurst, hamburgers. Any questions or concerns, you can contact Randy Casper at 618-779-6209. Chapter 1255, American Legion Riders Meat Shoot, Sunday, October the 18th, 201 Eiler Road in Belleville. Veterans helping veterans. Any questions or concerns, you can call 538-5445. A free Halloween walk in Mascoutah at 212 Fillmore Street. That's 212 Fillmore Street in Mascoutah, Illinois. It's on the corner of South Route 4 and Fillmore. They have a donation box for the Mascoutah Food Pantry. Digger's Haunted Yard, their 9th year. They're going to have Jason. They're going to have Pinhead animated figures. I guess the St. Clair County politicians will be out there. They got witches. I guess Kern will be out there and his wife. Hell, all the politicians are going to be out there. It's an outdoor event, open every night from dark till 10 p.m. Later on the weekends, wheelchair accessible. If you have any questions or concerns, you can call our good friend Digger out in Mascoutah at 979-5639. Don't forget, you can pick me up on iTunes. Type in Bob Romanik and or the Grim Reaper of Radio. You can go to our streaming site, insanebroadcasting.com, one word, common spelling. Please like us on Facebook at KQQZ 1190 AM and also our sister station, KZQZ 1430 AM. You can hear my repeat performance every day at 4 o'clock p.m. and also broadcasting from the graveyard to the graveyard shift every night, Monday through Friday at the stroke of midnight. On this date, October the 14th, 1884, George Eastman patented the paper strip photographic film. On this date, October the 14th, 1899, William McKinley became the first president to ride in a car. 1899, the first president to ride in a car. On this date, October the 14th, 1964, the Reverend Martin Luther King, a great fighter for justice and freedom, won the Nobel Peace Prize for his work in the civil rights movement. On this date, October the 14th, 1982, President Ronald Reagan declared war on drugs. There's a good one. We'll go back. October the 14th, 1979. The first gay rights march on Washington, D.C. was attended by 200,000 people. And it says, I bet most of them were gay. On that date, October the 14th, 1979, Mark Sweet Cakes Kern, I want to ask, where were you at on that date? October the 14th, 1979. Were you, and I'm just asking, were you in Washington, D.C.? Were you marching? And I'm just asking. Give me a call. You idiot, you no-count, low-life piece of crap, political son of a bitch, Mark Sweet Cakes Kern. They're going to throw your ass out of office, and we're going to talk about that momentarily. That's what happened. And don't get me going because I'm in a good mood today. Don't piss me off, you rotten bastard politicians. That's what happened on this date, October the 14th, throughout all these years in our world's history. I'll tell you, we've got our good friends from Cahokia here. We're going to talk to them. Then I want to get to the School District 189, and a few people are listening out there in School District 189. Stay tuned because we've got some hardball questions to ask that idiot that they call the superintendent of the schools for School District 189, Mr. Culver. You can't believe his compensation package. I've got everything right here in front of me, but let's take care of our good friends in Cahokia. Jerry Nichols, Gary Carnwell, Gary, the ex-mayor of Cahokia. It's an honor and a privilege to have you guys all the time. What's going on, buddy?
Everything. We got a mess down in Cahokia, and I appreciate being on today. Reaching out to your listeners is a big deal to me. And, being a Democrat and being an honest person and attempting to participate in the Democratic Party in St. Clair County is an impossible thing. You can only participate with them, it appears, if you're corrupt. And otherwise you're shunned. Otherwise you're shunned. So there's no in between. You're either corrupt and with them, or you're honest and they don't like you.
Gary, we talked a while back, and you were kind of betwixt and between, and I hope I'm not kissing and telling on this, but you said, Bob, I'd been a Democrat all my life, and I hate to leave the party. But we discussed it. You didn't leave the party. The Democratic Party left you, left Jerry Nichols, left 90% of the Democrats in St. Clair County. It's not the same Democratic Party with all the proper principles as 30, 40 years ago, the Franklin Delano Roosevelt Democrats. This is a gang. This is a culture of corruption that has spread. It has spread like terminal cancer all throughout, not just St. Clair County, but throughout the state of Illinois.
That's right. And, folks need to be informed about the way elections go down when it comes to a primary and a general election. And this next election is a primary. And I just want folks to understand that you have to declare one or the other. You have to declare Democrat or Republican. So in other words, if you are a supporter of, say, Donald Trump or Ben Carson, and you wish to support them for president, you can only do that by requesting a Republican ballot. If you choose Democrat, they will not appear on that ballot. So people need to be mindful of that. And if you have a political operative that is bum rushing you on your front porch and getting you to sign an application for an absentee ballot, they're probably choosing that for you. It may be a big surprise to you that all of a sudden that application will be turned into Tom Holbrook's office in St. Clair County, and you're going to surprisingly receive a Democratic ballot in the mailbox, not knowing that you even requested one. And that is, to me, that's fraud.
Yeah, that's
vote
a good
fraud.
point.
If somebody requests a ballot, they should fully know that they have done so. And so be careful. Be careful what you sign. Be careful what you request. If you intend to support Donald Trump or Ben Carson for President of the United States, then you have to declare a Republican ballot in this primary. The following election after that will be a general election where Democrats and Republicans will square off against each other, and then you will have a choice where you can choose the person and not the party.
Yeah, you don't have to declare in the general election, but you do in the primary. That's true. Again, Gary, we've talked about this, and I think you've had some soul searching. Your pop's been a Democrat all of his life. You've been a Democrat. Jerry Nichols, sitting across from us, been a Democrat. Carl Officer, who just walked in, has been a Democrat. But when the Democratic Party starts doing such egregious things, I think people have to look past the D behind their name or an R for Republican behind their name. I think it has to be a moral issue, and I think that's what's going to happen in 2016 in St. Clair County. I think people are going to vote their morals, their guts, their true feelings. They're not going to vote because a guy has a D behind his name or a guy has an R. I think we put that out so much in the last few years. I think people are starting to understand.
Yeah, and it's not, you have to be one or the other to participate in a primary and receive a nomination for the general election. So it's the structure of the elections in the state of Illinois that mandates that. I think that most people can subscribe to both philosophies of the Democratic Party and philosophies of the Republican Party. They want to be helpful to people that need help, but they also want fiscal responsibility at the same time. And so those are extremes in both parties, but I think that most people fall in between there somewhere. Unfortunately, in a primary, you have to declare, because if you choose nonpartisan, you're not going to have any candidates to choose from, only referendums or something. You'll receive a very, very small ballot. So, and this is the reason why usually there's a lower turnout in a primary than there is in a consolidated or a general election, is because people don't like to have to declare. I've seen people walk into the polls and the election judges will ask, well, do you want a Republican or a Democratic ballot? And they say, well, I'm not telling you. Well, that's because they don't want to be put in that position, but unfortunately the way that a primary is structured, you have to. So once again, let me tell everybody, just for educational purposes, if you decide that you want to back Donald Trump or you want to back Ben Carson or any of the other Republican presidential candidates, I think that dictates what people choose in a primary more so in a presidential primary, is who do they want to choose for president. So if you want to back any of the Republican presidential candidates, you have to choose a Republican ballot. They're not going to appear on the Democratic ballot, and I just want people to be aware of that.
What else? I think you've got something very, very important to you and near and dear to you that you've came in today to talk about, Gary. What is that?
Well, all my life, I've participated with the Democratic Party. I'm a precinct committeeman in my fourth term. My father has been the longest precinct committeeman in the village of Cahokia, like over 35 years. Recently they gerrymandered the boundaries of the precincts, and they cut him out. And that is really disrespectful to him. I love my father. He has worked tirelessly. And him and I and other Democratic precinct committeemen in Cahokia have really come through for the Democratic Party, like 80% plus in these elections. But that's not good enough for them, because I don't believe that they're interested in building a solid organization that benefits the Democratic Party at a state or national level. And I think that the results last November prove that. I think that there's so much infighting going on in the Democratic Party. It's Democrat against Democrat, and that repulses me. I can't participate in that anymore. So last night, I went to the Village of Cahokia board meeting for the sole purpose of handing a letter to Bob Sprague, who's the village attorney, and he's also the St. Clair County Democratic chairman.
Piece of crap, in my opinion, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
The letter is myself resigning as precinct committeeman in the Village of Cahokia, as the Democratic precinct committeeman for Centerville Precinct 18. It's a tough decision for me, but it's something that I have to do if I wish to stand by my principles. And so I did that. I handed him a letter resigning as Democratic precinct committeeman. I can't participate with St. Clair County Democrats anymore.
Yeah, well, no, here, and I want to semi-correct you. You can't participate with the renegade faction of the St. Clair County Democratic Party. The renegades have taken over. The true Democrats have left. There's a lot of attorneys that have left. There's a lot of good people that say, hey, I can't be, if this is being a Democrat today, if this is what we're called now, or Democrats today, I don't want to be there, Gary. And I think you're one of thousands in St. Clair County. You're going to feel the same way. That's right. In St. Clair County, the leadership in the Democratic Party, the so-called leadership in the Democratic Party, is backwards. It's all infighting. Really, it's Democrat against Democrat, and that's not productive to anybody. It's about exclusive control. It's about vote fraud, for sure. You're right. If you take a look at the St. Clair County Democratic Central Committee and where their funds go, you're going to see that those funds end up directly into the hands of people who have been convicted of vote fraud. And, vote fraud is hard to overcome. You have to make that up in other areas, because it's going to take place in certain areas, and I think that that's devastating to the communities that it happens in without them realizing that. I don't think that whenever you hand over so much power to somebody by participating in vote fraud, that I don't believe that they turn around and use their positions of power to benefit those same communities. I believe that they use it the other way. Right. So it has to stop, and it's all about educating people. Don't sell your vote. Realize what happens after the fact. Realize that these are not your friends. They're using you. They come in late. They decide to do a few things to create a perception
that they're doing something for you, and then they spend their entire 4-year term not doing things for you.
Now, just for them and their families. And don't forget, people, 2016 is also a federal election, and the federal authorities will be down. The St. Clair County Freedom Coalition, with our good friend Carl Officer and Roger Cook, are demanding that the state and the feds take a look at all the fraudulent activity going on in East St. Louis and all throughout St. Clair County, because it hurts the good people. It hurts the voters that come out and want to vote for the person of their choice. If they steal 30 votes down in East St. Louis, mine, yours, Jerry's, Carl's vote's not going to count.
It cancels out the legitimate votes of every person who does not sell it. And and it also devastates the entire community, because the actions of these government elected officials, if their heart is not in the right place, then they use their power to take millions of dollars away from your community. And it's all because you sold your vote to them for $30 or $50 or whatever it is.
Are you crazy? $50? Who the hell? Where are you going?
Well,
try 5 or 10.
I don't participate, so obviously I don't participate in that. As a matter of fact, I've stood in public forums and said emphatically that we will not buy your vote, and I mean that, because that is the beginning of the end for your community overall.
That's very well. You've got something that you said you passed out a letter or gave a letter to Bob Sprague resigning. Do you have that with you, Gary?
I got a copy of the letter right here that I gave to Bob Sprague, the chairman of the St. Clair County Democratic Central Committee. I'm also sending a copy of this to Michael Madigan, who is the chairman of the State Democratic Central Committee, because I believe that he should be aware of how the Democratic funds are being spent down here against other Democrats. It's not, you would think that money would be spent, to try to create a solid organization. It's not. That's not what's happening in St. Clair County. What's happening down here is it's being used for infighting, for exclusive control on a select anointed few people who are benefiting greatly from it, but it's creating blight, more blight, and that's the intention of the Democratic Party in St. Clair County, is to create blight in certain communities so that makes it easier for them to buy the vote.
Yeah, and control the vote. You're right.
If you're kept poor, then it's easier for them to buy your vote. If they try to buy a vote in a rich community in St. Clair County, they're going to say, get off of my porch. But when they intentionally create blight using their elected positions to do so, it makes it easier for them to commit vote fraud in those blighted communities. So this is the letter that I gave to Bob Sprague last night, and I would like to share it with your listeners at this time.
Go right ahead.
Dear Mr. Chairman, for many years my family and I have worked for and supported Democratic political candidates at every level, and have volunteered our time and money campaigning for this party in the village of Cahokia. One would think that the purpose of the Democratic Committee would be to overcome opposition from other political parties. That does not seem to be the case with your committee, which seems to be more interested in facilitating opposition within the party. Campaign financial reports reflect the fact that since 2012, nearly all of the funds in your committee have been spent opposing me and other Democrats chosen by the people of Cahokia. You have even gone so far as to fund the formation of a third party for the sole purpose of opposing a chosen Democratic candidate. Your efforts, intentions, and funding have proven that you do not recognize or value my efforts as Centerville Precinct 18 committeeman, historically one of the most productive precincts for the Democratic Party in St. Clair County, bringing in 80% plus. You intentionally left me out of the loop, provided me with no signs, no funds for Election Day, in your attempt to discredit me. You paid a lot of other people instead to work my precinct, and they let the party down while taking your money. It is obvious that you do not intend to use your position of leadership to build a solid organization that serves the party at the state and national level. The result is a decline in Democratic positions, including the loss of the governorship and U.S. Congress district last November. Although I will always agree with many Democratic principles, I can no longer participate in St. Clair County as a representative of the Democratic Party. I plan to focus my efforts in a new direction. Why would I spend my own time and money convincing others to support local Democrats when those same Democrats spend their time and money against me? Enough is enough. I'm out. I hereby officially resign from my position as Democratic Precinct Committeeman after 8 years of service. No longer will I shamefully pretend to be a member of the St. Clair County Democrats. From now on, I will proudly and openly support the person, not the party. I will work tirelessly to convince others to do the same.
Very well written, Gary. I hope everybody absorbed that, and we'll have a copy here if anybody wants one. Did you hear his sincerity? This guy had been a Democrat, but they've pushed him out. They've pushed Jerry Nichols out. I can't speak for Carl, but Carl's been treated so poorly. He was the only candidate in 1972 on the 76, on the Democratic ballot for coroner who lost the election. What does that tell you? And Carl's fought for the Democrats when he thought the Democrats were right. He fought with the Republicans when he thought they were right and came down and got something from the Republicans to the city of East St. Louis, and that's what Carl's fought for. And people, you got to understand, and especially the proud black community, Centerville, Cahokia, Allerton, East St. Louis, Washington Park, you guys have been used for so many years. I'm a proud white guy, but I'm ashamed at the way that the St. Clair County Democratic Central Committee has treated people, both black and white. Gary Cornwell, proud white man. Jerry Nichols, proud white man. They're getting screwed as much as the proud black community. And I would say, Gary, I understand where you're coming from. I've fought these guys for the last 5, 10, 15 years. And I agree. You got to vote for the person, not the party, because this party politics has destroyed not just St. Clair County, it's destroyed this great United States, or helping to destroy it. And I think they've lost a true fighter, a decent man in you, Jerry Nichols, and all the good people of Cahokia. And I don't think there's going to be any coming back. I think we're going to have to destroy the St. Clair County culture of corruption and let them build again and start all over.
That's right, and this isn't an easy decision to make. This hurts me to do this, but it has to be done if I choose to maintain my integrity, which I will do. And I'm proud of the decision that I'm making right now. I'm not looking back. I'm switching gears, but it's just hard because I've worked so hard to build what I've become today.
Yeah.
And so now I'm turning my back to that because it's not working in St. Clair County. And like I say, I still believe with a lot of Democratic principles. I believe that there's some things that benefit people, but with the way that the election structures are, you have to, in a primary, you have to decide between one party or the other. And so this wasn't an easy decision, but I stand by it 100%. And let me be very, very clear. I'm officially denouncing my participation today with the Democratic Party in St. Clair County.
And you know what, Gary? I think there's probably thousands of people out there that would like to do the same thing on the air. And let me tell you, before we take a quick break, there are people in East St. Louis, you political leaders, not the political arm, not the mayor, not the board members, not the Board of Education. I'm talking about you committeemen, the people have been screwed. There's going to be $300,000 to $400,000 for legitimate election purposes trying to help destroy the St. Clair County Democratic culture of corruption. So don't think that you need their help. The St. Clair County Freedom Coalition will fund people that are trying to destroy this culture of corruption. We have to get past this. So don't say you can't get any money to get your people out. The St. Clair County Freedom Coalition is going to support people. They're going to give money to people to get the vote out. Never to buy a vote, but to get the vote out, to explain to these people what the St. Clair County Democratic culture of corruption has done. If you Democrats below the hill would come up the hill and say, Sprague, you've made us the laughing stock. You've never done anything for us down in East St. Louis. You'd run them out of town. They've got everybody afraid. These guys are little men, people. You don't need their money. The St. Clair County Freedom Coalition is going to be there for you. And all we ask is for a fair and impartial election and get rid of the St. Clair County Democratic culture of corruption that call themselves the St. Clair County Democratic Central Committee. Think about it, people. You don't need them. They need you. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. Before we do, real quick, take a minute or two. They're going to be doing some more hiring, Gary or Jerry, out in Cahokia. And I see that they're thinking about hiring Joanne Reed and Patricia Hicks. I mean, they've got some pretty good rap sheets here.
Yeah, they do. They didn't come out and say names last night. He wouldn't speak up with no names, but I know who's going where. It's out in Cahokia already. He's hiding the names and the salaries so far. And it was really a bad meeting. He didn't explain nothing to nobody. The people tried to ask questions. He just shuts them up. It was real bad last night as far as his part.
Yeah. Well, it's going to get worse because you can't keep – these guys are giving jobs, assistants to the assistant to the assistant, and there's still a fight for the union people in Cahokia. I'll ask you, Jerry, and I know you probably don't know, where's this money coming from?
We don't know where the money's coming from. There was no money. We was very good keepers of the money when Mayor Gary Cornwell was in there, and they've added like $578,000 to payroll already, not counting what they going to add last night.
Okay.
We don't have that kind of money.
Well, I'll tell you, we're going to keep on taps of what's going on in Cahokia. I think Cahokia may be in for a rude awakening by the Democrats. I know Curtis McCall, his new son, his youngest son, now he's an alderman in Centerville, and I told all you people before the election, Curtis McCall Sr. and Jr. promised 400 or 500 jobs. They've given out 15 or 20 jobs that the village of Cahokia can't even afford to have, but they're not going to do anything. It's not the McCall team in Centerville Township. If you're not a McCall family member, you're not getting anything. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with my good friend, Mayor Carl E. Officer. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM and simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane Broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio at its finest, and we are, as always, proud, very proud to be the Patriot.
From KQQZ 1190 AM, St. Louis, Missouri, USA, you're listening to Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM. Also simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane Broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio, and we are, as always, and very, very proud to be the Patriot. I'm reading the editorial in the Belleville News-Democrat that I picked out of the trash. You never want to buy this piece of crap. But it says, and it's insinuating that Mark Kern, and it's a scathing editorial talking so bad about Kern, says there's no opposition on the horizon. And I don't believe that to be true at all. I think there's strong opposition. I just don't think they've announced yet. But don't think Mark Sweet Cakes Kern's going to get another 4 years, making it 16 years of mismanagement. That's what's wrong, people. After 12 years, you would think the ignorant son of a bitch would understand that he doesn't have anything right and it's time to go. But you got to yank them son of a bitches. It's like they get in there and they super glue their stinky asses to the chair. 14, 16 years? That's what he wants? He's already had 12. He's not accomplished anything. But a scathing article in the News-Democrat, the editorial, about what he's not done, about how much the airport cost. And we're trying to get some information because on CBS Early Morning News last Friday, they did a fleecing of America about the airport. Now, nobody knew about it. I got a call, and we're trying to get all the information that we'll get to you. But the national news, and I told you, they came down from Washington, D.C. a couple months back, and they had a 15-minute, another scathing editorial about the fleecing of America, and that's what the St. Clair County Democratic culture of corruption has done. They fleeced us out of $500 million. But we'll get into that later. I just want to let you know, whenever they say that Kern has no opposition on the horizon, I don't believe that to be true. I think every position is going to be challenged this time to give the people the opportunity to choose who they want to lead them. And speaking of that, with me, our good friend, Mayor Carl E. Officer. Mayor, how the heck you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm excited this morning. Thank you very much for allowing me to sit in with you. I'm just so proud of my good friend, the mayor of Cahokia, former mayor of Cahokia, Gary Cornwell, who I think gave you the most articulate and succinct response to what has been a devastating relationship with the Democratic Party. I've never seen so disrespectful approaches, attitudes, and actions by a party chairman to an elected party official in my life. And I have been involved in politics all my adult life. But what happened to Mayor Cornwell, Committeeman Cornwell, was an absolute atrocity of fairness, decency, honor, and respect. And it should have never happened. I regret that he had to leave representing the people that he wanted to represent. But I applaud him for his courage and his conviction to being true to his integrity and his honor. And I think he's going to be a great leader, will continue to be a great leader for not only the people of Cahokia, but the people of St. Clair County.
And they tell me that you have something very special to announce today. Is there any truth to that, Mayor?
Well, I don't know if it's very special. I have, as you know, over the last several months, listened to a lot of people. I had to do what was most important to me. I had to pray over this thing, and I have come to the conclusion that I am going to humbly and sincerely accept the efforts of those persons who have been kind enough to me to circulate my petitions to run as a candidate for coroner of St. Clair County. And I'm looking forward to running with Gary. And I believe that we're going to see a major change in St. Clair County. The St. Clair County Freedom Coalition, which Roger and I put together over a year ago. We've had some active conversations with Mayor Cornwell. I think when you get mayors of the three largest cities together in St. Clair County who understand what this thing is all about. We've worked with county leadership over the years, or tried to work with them, and we've seen the corruption. We've seen the culture of corruption. We've seen the total lack of respect for the people of St. Clair County, the total disrespect for the taxpayers in St. Clair County. And let me just go one step further, Bob, and say the raping and sodomizing of the taxpayers of St. Clair County. We have come together to fight this culture of corruption, and I'm looking forward to working with Gary and Roger and of course you.
Well, I appreciate that. So that draft Carl officer for coroner, actually, I mean, it was a strong movement, so they convinced you to get out there and fight for the people. And again, Mayor, let's let everybody know. It's Democrats, Republicans, and Independents uniting together with the Republicans, flying the banner of the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition to get the best candidate, not the party, but the best candidate.
I heard one of the best explanations when I heard Gary explain why we have to choose this particular route, but I think that reality, both Mayor Cornwell, Roger Cook, and myself, we've always run for our municipal positions as nonpartisan.
Right.
Because that's the way that it is set up under the Constitution of the state of Illinois when you run for a city-wide election. Quite frankly, I really think that's the way it ought to be for the counties also. I don't think that it makes anybody any difference, Democrat or Republican or independent, when you're trying to record your deed at the courthouse. Yeah. When you're trying to get a marriage license at the courthouse, I don't think there's a Republican marriage license or a Democratic marriage license. I don't think that, certainly for the office of coroner, I don't believe the coroner checks to see whether or not you're a Democrat or a Republican if you're dead. I do think that it is very, very important for the people of St. Clair County to realize this is a process. This is the beginning of the process. And we're going to be doing our best to inform and educate the voters of St. Clair County. And by the way, let me just say this to you. I'm so proud to see that your radio stations, and I mentioned stations, have expanded now where it's going, like I say, up to Bloomington, all the way over to the Indiana border. it's going to make a big difference, because the people who live in Clinton County, the people who live in Madison County, the people who live throughout Randolph County and other counties throughout Illinois need to understand this is not just St. Clair County.
Right.
This thing affects the folks who care about Murray State. This affects folks who are from Centralia and all over. This dictation coming out of Chicago has got to stop. It affects the people of Illinois to the point we don't have a state budget. It affects the people of the state of Illinois. We don't have decent health care providing. We don't have many things that people need day to day. This is not about a political job. And I'm so proud to be with Roger and to be with Gary and others that people will be hearing about. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in Springfield, Illinois, at least voicing the concerns of the people.
Let me tell you what, Mayor, I promise everyone, if elected, I may not be able to get a lot done because I'm only one vote, but what I will get done, I'll disrupt that whole Democratic culture of corruption, and it will be like my face. It will be scary, and it'll be ugly. Mayor Carl Officer, congratulations, people of St. Clair County. Mayor Carl Officer will be a candidate for coroner St. Clair County on the Republican ticket, because that's where the St. Clair County Freedom Coalition is going to unite with the Republicans to get rid of the culture of corruption in St. Clair County. Last word, Mayor.
Well, I think the most thing that's really important to me right now is a matter of courage. We need people to have courage. Courage to vote your convictions, to vote for the man or the woman and not the party. Don't allow yourselves to be fooled. Don't allow yourselves to be intimidated. Understand clearly who's running, why they're running, what office they're running for, and don't hesitate to ask us our positions and what the situation is. We'll be more than happy to explain to you openly and honestly. We have nothing to do with a welfare check. We have nothing to do with food stamps. We have nothing to do with any of those issues that you hear them hollering about, your housing. Those are simply ways of dividing to try to conquer you, to scare you, to put fear in you. And I'm primarily speaking to people who are in blighted and poor communities. That's where this culture of corruption has preyed upon poor people. They can't do this with people who have a $100,000 house.
Right.
They do this to people who are paying, who live in public housing. They do this to people who can barely pay their American Bottoms bill. They do this to people who have no visible means of real job support. They have used and abused and enslaved poor people, both black and white, Hispanic, throughout St. Clair County. That's what we're fighting against.
Mayor Carl Officer, we're going to take a quick break. The mayor's on his way out the door, so is Jerry and Gary Carnwell, because I'm coming after that no-count, low-life, good-for-nothing son of a bitch that are screwing our teachers, that are more than screwing our teachers, screwing the students, the children of School District 189, that bastard that they call the superintendent of schools, Mr. Culver. We'll be back right after this break. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, Insane Broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio, and we are, as always, proud, very proud to be the Patriot.
From KQQZ 1190 AM, St. Louis, Missouri, USA, you're listening to Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, Insane Broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio, as you all know, and we are, as always, proud to be the Patriot. School District 189. All the great teachers in School District 189 Local 1220. They're fighting. They're fighting to get back into the classroom. They're fighting because they teach and want to teach our most precious commodity in this world, our children. Let's get behind School District 189. Let's get behind Local Union 1220. And I want to ask you, rotten bastard politicians down in East St. Louis, where the hell are you at? The children of School District 189 are suffering because you guys won't get involved, because you guys are one and the same. The East St. Louis School District 189, the leaders of East St. Louis, you guys are all politically inbred. You're one and the same. You can stop this. The political leaders, Amika Jackson, where are you at? Eddie the Gerbil Jackson, you're the state representative. You ought to have your ass out there on the picket line. I've been out there 3 or 4 times. I bet you haven't been out there once, you no-count son of a bitch. And this Culver, this piece of crap from Springfield or Chicago, I don't know where he's from, but I know where he's not from. He's not from East St. Louis. He's not a proud black man. He's a plantation Negro stepping and fetching for the boys in Springfield, for the boys in Chicago. This no-good son of a bitch has a contract up till May 2019. He makes over $300,000 a year combined with his salary, his car expense, $800 a month, his telephone, his internet. Do you pay for the toilet paper, School District 189? Do you guys pay for Culver's toilet paper? If not, that's the only thing you haven't paid for. And that stinky-ass bastard would probably break you using toilet paper, paying for toilet paper. This no-good son of a bitch gets a 6% raise every year. It's in the contract. A 6% raise every year. He gets a month off for vacation. He gets sick days that if he doesn't take them, he gets paid. He gets $35,000 for a tax shelter. $35,000, people. That's more money than most people in East St. Louis make and support their families with. It's a money grab for this rotten. Get your ass, and I'll have to say black ass because last time I saw you, you were black. If it was white, I'd say get your stinky white ass out of town. How the hell can School District 189 defend this contract and not give the teachers what they deserve, what they want to teach our most precious commodity? I say School District 189, leaders of East St. Louis, you guys need to stop this now. You need to give the teachers what they earn, what they deserve. They're there every day teaching our children. I know, Culver, you don't have children in School District 189. Probably most of the leaders of East St. Louis don't have children in School District 189. But the voters of East St. Louis have children in School District 189, and that's what you ought to be. If you're not concerned about the children, be concerned about your elections coming up. Nobody's been out there. No civic leader. Where are you at, Senator Foghorn? I say Buckwheat Claiborne. You rotten bastards, you'll take the poor people's vote out of East St. Louis, but that's all you'll take. You've taken their dignity. You've taken their pride. Now you're taking their money so they can't feed their families. Claiborne, you live in a $400,000 house. Eddie Jackson, I don't know where the hell you live, but I don't believe it's in District 114. Try Glen Carbon. School teachers, keep the fight going. The decent people understand your plight. The decent people understand what you're fighting for because you have families, you have children that you have to support. So I would say one more time, Culver, you piece of crap. Get off your ass. Get off your $300,000. People, $300,000 a year in an impoverished school district. You think he's doing that out of dedication? Hell no, he's not. Get your ass back to Springfield. Get your ass back to Chicago. Take your people with you. Let the people of East St. Louis take care of their own. But I want to salute the school teachers of School District 189. I want to salute their local 1220 for fighting the fight. You know they're going to try to stall you out. And I would still say, Culver, of a sign of fair play and fairness, if the school teachers aren't getting paid, you rotten, stinky son of a bitch, you shouldn't be getting paid. Your administrators shouldn't be getting paid. But you can wait the school teachers out because your family's eating good. Their families aren't. People of East St. Louis, get behind your school teachers. I would say School District 189, who the people of East St. Louis put you in those positions. Don't worry about your political prowess. Don't worry about your political hookups. Worry about the children that you're supposed to represent. And again, I want to salute the school District 189, all the teachers. They're out there on the picket line again today. We support you in anything we can do. I just challenge the city leaders of East St. Louis, who are also friends and cohorts and inbred political bastards like School District 189. You guys need to get your heads together and do what's right. If not for the teachers, for the students of School District 189. They've got a rough enough road to hoe. They don't need you rotten bastards screwing up what little education they're attempting to get. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of Radio, and you've been listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM and simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane Broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio, and we are very proud to be the Patriot. Come on back tomorrow, same time, same place. We're going to be again on this school district situation. Didn't have enough time. We're going to fight. We're going to fight for not only the teachers, but the students, the children of School District 189. They've got a rough enough time. They don't need you bastard politicians screwing them up. Let's get behind the teachers. Where are you at, Kern? You should be getting involved. You'll take every vote out of East St. Louis. You bastard Democrats will take every vote out of East St. Louis, but you won't come down to help them when they need the help. You inbred political, no-count, low-life, good-for-nothing, political, parasitical, perverted punks that we call politicians. You got no guts. You got no integrity. You got no morals. And hopefully come 2016, you'll have no vote out of East St. Louis. People are tired of this crap. It ain't a black-white thing. It's a wrong and right thing, and it's wrong. So let's all get together, unite as one, black, white, men, women, Democrats, Republicans. Unite as one so we can continue to expose, to drag. And you know what we have to do. We have to destroy these no-count political inbred bastards. Destroy them forever. Destroy them politically, of course. Right here on the dark side.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha. They're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha. To the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time. And I'll be happy to see those nice young men in their clean white coats. And they're coming to take me away, ha-ha.
The Patriot.
Your First Amendment and All-American Station. A division of Insane Broadcasting. Renegade.